Hi, hello. Start of a new vlog. If you guys have, I'm out of breath. If you guys watched one of my first videos about this, or I guess the introductory video, I will leave that link down below for y'all. But basically, this is me talking about, or a vlog of me reading 2 out of the 10 5-star predictions that I did back in January. Again, I'll be doing this in installments of 2 each, 1 new release and 1 backlog. This time around, the 2 stories that I'm having at the moment are the 2 books that I'm planning on reading. Starting off with the backlog, I said I have already started that, but that is Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Iyimide. This is a YA, I guess like almost thriller kind of situation following these 2 young students who were chosen to become the prefects of their like private school, only for someone to, in Gossip Girl style, start releasing information, private information about them via text messages. I did start this already. I started it today because I ended up DNFing an arc that I was really excited for, so I gotta work on that part. Almost 50% of the way through and I was like, I can't do it anymore. I tried really hard. But this is the backlisted work that I've been trying to pick up for a hot minute. I finally was like, I'll just put it on a list where I have to check things off because I'm forgetful. And yes, but I'm enjoying it so far, which to me says I was not in a reading slump reading Chaos in the Flame. I just was not vibing with the story, which makes me feel better because I hate coming out of a reading slump when I have all these plans. But the 2023 release actually isn't coming out until May. I got an arc of it and I was like, I need to read this first. This has to be the book that I read first. Like, I can't not read this book first. And that is Chasing Pacquiao by Rod Pulido. This is a YA contemporary following a young boy who is out of journey in his school, and he is like most Filipinos, turns to boxing as a form of like standing up for himself and finding some strength in himself. That is until I think I want to say like late 2010s. Pacquiao came out with some very homophobic comments about gay people, obviously because it's homophobic, and he now kind of has to grapple with the fact that he found so much inspiration, so much strength in a man who quite literally reviles his presence, his existence, and has said some very disgusting things regarding the topic. Disgusting. I'm very excited to read them. You guys are probably like, Therese, if you're so always excited for the new release, why didn't you read that first? My Kindle wasn't charged. And quite frankly, I have had my eye on this book for so long now that I just needed to read it. I needed to just be done with it. Not that I'm not excited to read it, but I just needed to read it, like, before I like lost any traction that I wanted to, because I got distracted with something else. I've heard nothing but good things about Ace of Spades. I know this is I think a trilogy or a duology. There's going to be a sequel that's coming out soon, so I'm very, very excited for that. But so far, I am enjoying the characters. What's her name? Chiamaka is a very, like, I love her personality already. She's very strategic, very cunning, very, like, intelligent, mean, like not Blair Waldorf vibes, but like it's reminiscent of Blair Waldorf. And then we have Devin, who is just a sweetheart who wants to just kind of stay away from the limelight and has been enjoying his time, but now he's in the middle of this huge ass scandal that is happening with the school. Very intrigued by this so far. I can't wait to get more into it. I don't have much thoughts aside from that. I'll probably update you guys once I'm about like actually 20. I'll probably do 25, 50, 75. Or depending on how the progression goes, it'll probably be 20, 25, 75, or 50, 75. Probably leaning more toward somewhere between the 25, 50, 75 to end, or 20, 50 to the end, or I will let y'all know. I did this with the historical romance one where I kind of did it in chunks, but we'll see how I'm feeling as I'm reading the book and see if I want to do more frequent updates, or if this book will just elicit more frequent updates. But right now, I gotta go. Well, I'm gonna go have some vitamins. I didn't have to take my vitamins today. Eat a little bit and then film a review. I'm reviewing Chloe and the Cow Show Boys. Cow Xiao. I don't know why I want to keep adding a U, but I'm filming a review on that one. And then I'm going to take a shower and just chill. It is now Wednesday. I am like 90% sure I've reached about a quarter of the way through the book. The only reason I'm updating now is because I have some thoughts, and I think it's about like a quarter of the way. And I'm also a Vane who apparently likes to hear herself talk, and it's been weird not updating y'all. I also have to film some B-roll tonight. But like I said, I'm about a quarter of the way through the book, and it's giving me like Pretty Little Liars, Gossip Girl, a bit of like I Know What You Did Last Summer vibe, especially like with the newer incarnation of this show, where they did have text messages be a focal point of like revealing the secrets and like threatening them. But oh shit, is it intense? We have had this Aces guy isn't like pulling like, oh yeah, you cheated on your math test. No, my dudes is going after the people who are like, yeah, so you stole something, you stole something. You were dating like a drug pusher. You gay. You made a sex tape with your ex-boyfriend. You have a drug problem. It's just like a whole mess, a slew of things that I'm just sitting here like, how did you find this out? Like some of these things I can kind of get where you'd find it, like the pictures of Devin and his ex-boyfriend Scotty kissing, even Devin and Scotty having the sex tape, because you can hack phones. But then a piece of licorice ended up in Chiamaka's or Chi's bag or pocket, and no one else was watching that, but somehow it ended up on the news. Then there were things about like Chiamaka's like not relationship, but relationship with her best friend, who is now not her best friend. I don't think she should continue being his best friend because he doesn't seem like a good guy. And that's just a little weird to me, because that means someone had to have been there and had to have known. So part of me thinks, no, the theory doesn't work out actually. But yeah, it's just a weird situation that I don't even know what's happening. I'm just confused and intrigued and equally horrified. Cause like part of me is like, yeah, some of these secrets make sense. Like secret sex tape, sure. Drug problem to show off, sure. Stealing both or attempting to steal someone's boyfriend when you didn't know they were talking at the time, / a piece of candy, also makes sense. But outing someone in a world where it's both accepted and demonized in the same sentence sometimes, that's kind of where I was like, ooh. To attack one of the few scholarship kids, and out him, and then put him in a dangerous situation because the neighborhood he resides in is not the most like LGBT accepting. Kind of not very girl boss gatekeep of you. But I'm very invested in, like, I don't want to put it down. I want to keep reading. So tonight's probably going to be like a mix of both a reading, a writing, and an editing night. I tried to make yesterday my editing night because I want to switch up my schedule just a smidgen. But then I got home and I was like, I'm just going to lay in bed for 30 minutes and just like breathe, because it's been like, this time change has messed with me in more ways than I could count, and I miss the days when I was young and capable of processing a time change like that. But no, I apparently needed like a good like 48 to 72 hours of relaxation and just complete like napping to be able to really understand it. I hate it. But so it's just gonna be a mix of that, so enjoy that B-roll. Probably me eating a lot of Nutella, because I fucking love Nutella. I hate myself for it. I love it. Like, if we used enough Nutella, I would have 2 separate jars. One of me being able to just eat out of the Nutella, and the other one for like everyday use. But we don't, so I just eat out of 1 jar of Nutella. But yes, I am gonna go start editing a video. It's my review for Chloe and the Kashao Boys. Very excited for that one. I read that book back in February and I really enjoyed it. And yes, probably more reading. I want to get to 50% before the week ends, which I don't think is going to be difficult. Like, this is 50. And even that, I could probably finish the book if I just, like, tomorrow, since I don't have a lot to do, I probably will just finish the book. So, but yes. I'm excited. I'm so, like, so invested, and I like both the characters. Like, it's very rare sometimes I have like one character where I'm like not leaning towards so much, but I love them both. I love Devon for his like soft introverted personality. I just want to hug him. And then Chiamaka, I just want to like marvel at her because she's such a badass and she's so aware of the world around her, but like man, her best friend Jamie is just a piece of shit. And I also low-key ship her with Jamie's girlfriend Belle. I feel there's some like queer sparks going on between the two of them. This is what sparks is apparently in Teresa's world. So very intrigued to see. And I know this is a bigger part of like a I think a duology or a trilogy. So very intrigued by those things.
It's hard to explain the way it goes. I guess it's too late to say I'm yours. It's hard to explain the way it goes.
It is Saturday morning. Please don't mind the bog witch look who hasn't discovered a hairbrush yet. I just took my hair down from its bun and I'm waiting for it to settle before I figure out what I need to do with it. In the camera it doesn't look that bad. In real life, maybe it looks bad in the camera and it's just the glare that's lying to me. But in real life it looks like I need to discover a hairbrush. I think it's settling fine. I think it's just the fringe that needs to be figured out. As I said, it's Saturday morning. I'm about, that's a cat. I am about 50% of the way through the book. And can I say, I am always one that when it comes to things like regarding mainly all white people and like a handful of colored people, where I am like, is it a race thing? Because it feels like it could be a race thing, and that's where my mind goes. But I don't know if it's just because of how tightly close the POVs are with Chi and Chiamaka. Jamie calls her Chi, but part of me realizing now that Jamie is white makes me think that maybe she is because he doesn't want to pronounce the whole name. So I'm gonna say Chiamaka. But Chiamaka and Devin's perspective are so like tightly close, like to their perspective because it is first person, that my brain just went into autopilot mode from when I was an English major and a psych major. Psych was a little looser, we had more POCs in psych, but when I was a English major and I was maybe one of 3 colored people in a class of 24 for most of, if not all of my undergrad classes. But Devin is like chilling with an old friend of his, like from elementary school or something, or middle school, Terrell. And Terrell is like listening to like Devin like explain everything, and Terrell goes, "Are you two the only like black kids?" And he's like, "Yeah, why?" And he's like, "Could that be it?" And my brain, I hated myself for not catching on to it quickly. I think part of it is because I am so used to being in primarily white spaces that I just didn't clock it, even though it's always the first thing I clock in most things. When he's like, "Yeah, it's probably a race thing," and I was like, this book's about racism in the academic setting. And the way my brain went into like the thriller mode, which like a lot of thrillers are like, you know, were written by white people. I'm not in the thriller like genre as a whole as much, so I'm not completely entirely sure. Well, yeah, I'm not too much in the thriller like zone, so I haven't read a lot of thrillers by BIPOC people. But I am just like, how did I not? The entire book is about racism, and because the main characters didn't think it was about racism, I didn't think it was about racism, or I forgot it was about racism. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess kudos for the author for making it that way, that not even I recognized it for a minute, because I was like, it's academia, you know, white people. But it's fine. But I am very invested in this story. I probably will be finishing this by like today. It's only like, you guys are like, you'll have another half of the book to go through. I'm like, yeah, I have only half of the book to go through, and the book, the font is like pretty decently sized. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens next. I am enjoying it so far. I am about halfway through the book, and I can't tell if it's a 5-star for me quite yet. It's leaning toward like 4 stars at the moment. It's very like enthralling and deep, but I just need to see more interaction, I think, between the two characters and see their dynamic, because as of right now they're just barely starting to interact. So I think the separation has kind of made it feel disconnected up until now, so I can't wait until they start interacting fully and maybe becoming friends from all of this, that I can fully like start to piece everything together. And of course there's going to be a big gigantic twist in the middle, as it is for most of these books. For like these books, meaning like more like thrillers or like mysteries and all that stuff, that I'm gonna put that down, that it is for these books, that it's just very much like you get a lot going on, and then there's like a gigantic twist that throws everyone in for a loop, and then this is kind of like where you start guessing. But I have no idea who Aces could be. I'm trying to go through like the list of people that are in their lives currently, but there's not much that I can think of, if I'm being completely honest. Like no one, unless it's the, like if it was the person who Chiamaka like had a traumatizing incident from, because Jamie was like, no, I gotta hit and run, it wouldn't make sense because Devin doesn't know them, or at least I don't think they do. But it could, like, considering it's giving me like Pretty Little Liars, Gossip Girl, like I Know What You Did Last Summer vibes, it could very well be someone's like sibling that they were both like invested in or had a stake in, and then them trying to like come and like cause a ruckus. But I'm gonna go ahead and read a little bit more. I have the apartment to myself for like probably another like 30 minutes because Jake went to the gym, my sister went to a tattoo consultation, so I'm just gonna probably like open the door, let the fresh air in for a little bit, and then just read and just try to enjoy the sunlight before it snows tomorrow. So I just finished the book. So it wasn't just one person, it turned out. People who are probably like having read the book are like, yeah, no shit. It was the entire like school system and the people within the school, and just kind of like the whole like racism is systematic. It's just like a big physical metaphor for the whole concept of systematic racism. It's within everything and everyone, even if you're not aware of it or cognizant of it. And it was just a big like conspiracy theory type of plot that turned out to be very real, where everyone was involved in some way. It's something that's passed down from the parents to the sibling to the kids, and so on and so forth. What else can I say? It was wild from start to finish. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. Not a 5-star prediction. I think it's actually a standalone and not a series, so that was my fault. I think I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to sleep on it because I don't know whether to give it a 4 stars. I think I might read some other people's reviews on like Goodreads and like see exactly what I feel like is missing, because it feels like something was missing and I can't pinpoint it. I can't tell if like the big reveal of everything happened too quickly and in too fast succession, or what exactly about it is just like missing for me. So I think I need to sleep on it for a minute. But I'll let you guys know what my final thoughts are on the book after some reading other people's reviews and seeing like what about it to me was missing. You know? But yeah, I'll catch up with you guys shortly, probably in like 5 or 10 minutes, just so I can read this stuff or read the reviews and everything and let you guys know exactly my thoughts, because I am also quite confused as to how I feel about the book. Like, I loved it from start to finish, but there was something about the end that I feel like was missing, but I can't figure out what about it was missing. I'll be back. Okay, I have returned from running errands and I read some reviews and I'm still torn. So I know in my heart of hearts it's a 4 out of 5 stars. There's no doubt about it. I just can't figure out why it's a 4 out of 5. Part of me agrees that the pacing of this could have been better. By the end we did get a happy ending, happy-ish, and it's the two of them like living out their dreams and like trying to take down these institutions from the inside / keeping black students from applying to said places. I also feel like there wasn't a strong bond between the two characters. Like, yeah, they like went through this traumatic thing together, and yeah, it did, like, they don't have to be best friends after it, but I felt like the bond could have been stronger, considering that the ending between the two of them is like the ending is when they're older, they have like this institution that's like for students Chiamaka's like married and like expecting a baby. Devin and Terrell are getting married, and like it feels like a happy ending with them trying to do good work and like stop black kids from going through the same things they did. But then within that same sphere, I felt the bond still didn't feel nearly as strong even after 16 years of like going through the same hell together and starting this institution together. So that's where I'm just like a little bit like, I feel like that's where my 4 out of 5 is coming from. The pacing could have been better because it felt slow in the middle and then really rushed toward the end. There were definitely some plot points that were not wrapped up. Like, why did Devin's father, why was he on death row? What happened there? Why was that included for some reason? What did Belle ever do about the situation? What started the fire? All these things and more. Did like Mr. Ward end up getting arrested? What happened to the school? So there's just a lot of like random things that started and then did not finish, and I'm just very confused by it all. Which is why part of me felt like it was going to be a bigger piece of work with more books or even more of a spin-off, so we get to learn more. So I don't know. But 4 out of 5 stars, not a 5-star, not a great start to this vlog series, but I really did enjoy it. I think I'll definitely be picking up more of Farida's future works because I really liked the writing, I liked the setting, I liked that both characters were queer, I liked the dark academia, the mystery, the I Know What You Did Last Summer / Pretty Little Liars / Gossip Girl vibes. But it's just the pacing of the book that definitely got dinged me. So yes. But the next book after that is Chasing Pacquiao. I'll explain more about it once I get a chance for my Kindle to charge up, because she did, and I can't start it yet. I mean, I could with my phone, but it's not the same.
I'm tired of searching for love. You calling me up. Tell me you're down. Turn right around. Searching for love. Not even some fun. It's turning me sour. What's this all about? What's this about? What's this all about? Tell me you don't mean it when you say you're down. You shut that mouth. Yeah. What's this all about? What's this about? What's this all about? Tell me you don't mean it when you say you're down. Won't you shut that mouth? Yeah.
Okay, alrighty, it is now Sunday. I did get a chance to read some of the book last night, so I'll just give you guys kind of a brief synopsis of what it's about, because I think I'm like almost past the synopsis portion. But this is a YA contemporary set in the fictional city of Alpheus, which is what it says in the beginning of like the disclaimer portion of the book that all books have. There's like, this is a work of fiction that And I spent a good 15 minutes last night, tangent, looking up where Alpheus was, and I just was like, is it in the Philippines? Is it in California? Where are we going here? In New York? And then it pops up to a Lord of the Rings city. So nice hidden gem there, Mr. Rod Pulido, you nerd. But this is a YA contemporary following a young boy named Bobby, who is currently closeted. He's dating a young boy named Brandon, and he's closeted and hasn't come out yet, doesn't plan on it quite yet. That is until he is outed, and he gets severely bullied by some of the other Filipinos out there because, you know, homophobic culture and whatnot. Pardon the hair. I just got done styling it. It's a bit of it's still in the cast while it's finishing drying. But he gets bullied so badly that he ends up turning to boxing, as inspired by Manny Pacquiao, who is like a well-known figure in the Philippines for his boxing talents and abilities. And that is until Manny comes out with some very homophobic comments himself. I'm not gonna say them on this vlog. You guys can Google it yourself, because I just don't. I'm sure it'll be brought up in the book itself, but I just don't want to repeat such shitty wording. And like, not even wording, just shitty thoughts in general. I think he came out with those statements somewhere in 2013. I think. Let me see. This was, he apologized in 2016. I think it was 2016. Yeah, because Nike dropped him after his comments in 2016. But so this book is set in about 2016, which I completely forgot about. And one day I was like reading the things about like certain like reactions to him being gay. I was like, this is so dated, because it is. Like, not saying that these things don't happen anymore, but in 2016, when things were just starting to become more like acceptable to be gay and to be out, and it wasn't like a joke or something or whatnot, this context makes more sense. But in the time of like when I was reading, I was like, wait. But I just got past the part when he's deciding that he wants to stand up to these bullies who stole his dad's bike that he gave to Bobby before he died. And I think that's kind of where I left off. I'm about 15% of the way through. I have a feeling I'm gonna blast through this book, like, not to toot my own horn, because I was reading through the audiobook. No, that's not it. Not the audiobook, the book. It's about 2 hours long, or I have 2 hours left until the book is done. I'm on chapter 5, about 15% of the way through, and that was me reading it for like maybe 30 minutes last night. So I think I kind of want to watch Daisy Jones and the Six. So I'm gonna go ahead and watch the latest episodes of Daisy Jones if I can, and probably read later in the day, because I'm not in the mood to read right now. Or am I? We'll see. But I'll keep you guys posted on my thoughts once I hit 25% of the way through, or maybe like even 50, because right now I am 15% of the way through, so we'll see. But I have very high hopes for this book. Like, I am hoping I am not disappointed. Please God. Alright, so it's now Sunday night. I'm making dinner. It's adult hamburger helper, but I thought I'd give an update because I'm about pretty close to 50%, and I think I am going to reach 50% before the end of the night. It's still Sunday. I'm actually really enjoying it. I like kind of the nods that we get that tells us what year it is without having to explicitly say it. He mentions that Captain America Civil War doesn't come out until May. So that says it about like probably before the entire situation happens with Manny Pacquiao. We get to see him discuss like his troubles with his mom and like what happened to their dad, and how like that whole family thing is going on. And I really am enjoying the book. I think it's fast paced. It definitely, like, it still feels like it's rooted and grounded, meant for like teenagers. It's not so you can tell it's written, like, it doesn't feel like it's written by an adult trying to write like a teenager. It still feels very grounded and very much like meant for teenagers, which I'm really enjoying. I get a lot of like Bobby's reluctance to like come out and tell him that he was beat up by these kids, even though the teacher kind of brought forth and kind of might make it a bigger problem for him in the future. I'm just really enjoying it so far. I don't know where I'm gonna put it with the rating just quite yet, because we haven't reached the point where we're past the synopsis, where he's like trained up to be a boxer, and then Manny comes out with these really terrible things and kind of has to grapple with those facts. So I'm waiting until we get to that point where we're past the synopsis, where we can really have a better understanding of how the book is gonna be for me. But so far, if things keep going up on this like hill, like this upward climb, probably very close to a 5, if not another 4. Which I'm praying for a 5, because I don't know what kind of look it would be if for the first 5-star predictions vlog I only get 4 stars for both books. So yeah, but now I'm gonna make some dinner and figure out kind of what I want to do with the rest of my night. My sister and I went to Barnes & Noble and then Trader Joe's. There's this whole thing, just kind of chilling. But now I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to read. I don't want to write. I played some Stardew Valley earlier, and I'm frustrated, so I had to put that down. I don't know what I want to do. It's going to be a great day. I don't know what I want to do. I should work on my bullet journal, actually. I'll do that. But other than that, I don't know what I want to do. Alright, it's now Monday. I was trying to wait until I reached like 75% before I got a chance to like update y'all on the book, but I'm about like 63-65% of the way through. I think the book, had I not read the synopsis, would have been fine on its own. But now I'm about 63% of the way through, and I haven't seen him tackle the main part of the novel, which is how Manny Pacquiao comes out in 2016 with these really homophobic statements. And him being a queer teen in 2016 that took up boxing to protect himself because he saw himself in Manny. None of that has happened. He's literally just training for a fight, and there's like 6 days from the fight with his bully, and none of it has happened yet. And I'm kind of frustrated, because if it's like 60% of the way through by now, we should have gotten past the fucking synopsis, which to me doesn't tell me it's a pacing problem or a problem with how the author wrote it. It's a problem with how they wrote the synopsis. So it's not sitting at a 5 for me right now, it's sitting at a 4, and I'm very frustrated because I had such high hopes for this book, but instead I'm kind of sitting here wondering when the actual like meat of the book of him having to recognize this homophobia in our culture, well, is gonna happen, because right now he's just fighting. He's getting ready to fight, which doesn't tell me anything. I'm literally still in like the synopsis of the book where he's trying to use boxing as a way to stand up for himself and to protect himself. So I don't know, I'm gonna try to finish the book tonight, maybe tomorrow, but right now I'm not disappointed with the book. I'm disappointed with how the synopsis was written, because I feel like this book would have been a 5 for me had the synopsis been worded differently, where he picks up boxing as a way to protect himself. Because like, I'll pop the synopsis onto here. This is the entirety of the synopsis from Goodreads, and I'm 63% of the way through, and I haven't even gotten to the actual, like, what they say is the conflict, which is him grappling with the fact that the person who inspired him to do this is a raging homophobe. So right now, I'm literally just reading a book about a queer teen idolizing Pacquiao. Okay, so it is now Tuesday, and I finished the book. I finished the book last night. Better? I don't know. Okay, but I finished the book last night, and we kind of slept on the rating because I wanted to give it a 4 initially, but then I talked it out with my friend because I was just like, I don't know how to feel about this book, yo. It's a 3. I'm gonna have a full-length review of this book come out so I can really just kind of get into the nitty-gritty of why I didn't like it so much, which I'm very disappointed by because I wanted to love this book. Like, this lighting is just not doing it for me today. It's like one side. I'm just gonna carry you. We can maybe, here. We'll just sit on the ground. We'll sit on the ground. Okay. But I desperately wanted to love this book. I was expecting to give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I wanted it to be a lot of things, and I don't know. Part of me feels like it's a product of the synopsis, but the synopsis shouldn't have included the fact about Manny Pacquiao's homophobic comments. Part of me also feels like it was an outline issue. Like, in the case of it being a synopsis issue, it's an easy fix. You can get rid of the line that discusses Manny Pacquiao's homophobia and be done with it. But then you end up with an entire novel, like a good chunk of the novel, of a queer teen using Manny Pacquiao as an inspiration to beat up his bullies, despite the fact that Manny made these homophobic comments. So I think most of it is an outline issue. I think the ending of the book, while we did get to see people talk about how shitty of a person Manny is and how his words allowed for more bigotry and hate to be pushed forward for people in the Filipino community, we didn't discuss there wasn't a discussion on like what that actually means for other queer folk or other people or other like Filipinos who are trying to become better for a better ally to the families and friends, and see that from someone who is like our shining beacon in the Philippines. I'm not saying that he is the main beacon, but I say like someone that, like, when you think of like famous Filipinos, Manny is probably the first one that pops into your head. So there wasn't a lot of like call for accountability. It was just kind of like everyone telling him like, oh yeah, no, he's a shitty person, like don't listen to him, and him accepting that. And then the ending of it was very Manny based, which I feel like, given the fact that we only get to see this specific plot point in the last like maybe 30-ish, 32 or 33% of the book, didn't feel like a deserved ending for me. It felt kind of a cheap ending almost, and I wasn't a fan of it. I felt like the ending, because of that, felt a little cheap, a little like it didn't feel like a deserved ending for him to have achieved that, because it wasn't a big part of the plot. Like I said, I did talk about it with a friend of mine, and she didn't read the book, but she kind of had seen me like read through it, and I was just like, got to a point where I messaged her and I was like, it's like 60% of the way through, this plot point isn't happening. She said that both of us kind of agreed that it would have been a more impactful and emotional novel had the comments that Manny made come out earlier in the novel, and then we get to see Bobby as a character struggle with the fact that he turned to this as a salvation of sorts, as a way to stand up for himself and against his bullies, and saw Manny as someone he could relate to, someone who wore his face and his skin color and his culture proudly around his neck, and that he felt like he could use this inspiration as a way to be more of himself and be a better person because of it, and have him struggle with losing that sense of security that came with having this this inspiration, and having to learn how to be his own person and learn how to find inspiration in himself and in others that wasn't that of in himself and in others, and other people who loved him and cherished him as a person and cared about his well-being. And I felt like that wasn't there. We get to see Manny just train for most of the book and like struggle with the fact that he is inspired by boxing and wants to stand up for himself in this manner, and then only for him to kind of like that. Like, it wasn't like shaken, it was kind of like jostled, I guess, a little bit when these things come out. So it didn't feel like to me that the ending was deserved, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. This has not been a great start to my 5-star predictions list. One of them is a 3, the other one is a 4. I mean, the 4 was not bad. 3 is just more so like a disappointment because of the fact that that I expected it to be a bigger plot point and it was not. But like I said, I will have a full-length review where I do discuss things that I enjoyed about the book, and the like more in depth about like why I feel like the ending wasn't deserved and what the ending was actually. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you guys enjoy me doing these 5-star predictions, I do have 4 more that I'm going to do throughout the year. But until next time, hit like, subscribe, and comment, and keep an eye out for my review of Chasing Pacquiao, which should be released a little closer to the actual release date, if not on the release date, depending on when that falls, which should be sometime in May, so like another like month. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this content, and let me know in the comments what kind of stuff you'd like to see next. Bye!